Li Wei stepped off the plane in Mumbai, the heavy air wrapping around him like a wet blanket. The monsoon rains had begun, drumming relentlessly on the tarmac. He was here for a project, a metro drilling operation that promised to change transportation in the city. But the rain had other plans. It poured down in sheets, turning the streets into rivers. The vibrant colours of Mumbai were muted under the grey sky. He drove through the city, the windshield wipers struggling to keep up. The roads were slick and treacherous. People hurried along the sidewalks, umbrellas flipped inside out. The smell of wet earth filled the air, mixing with the scent of street food. Li Wei felt a strange thrill. The city was alive, yet it felt haunted. The construction site was a maze of tunnels and machinery. The ground vibrated with the sound of drills. The workers moved like shadows, drenched and weary. Li Wei immersed himself in the chaos, focusing on the project. But the rain kept falling, relentless and heavy. One evening, after a long day, Li Wei decided to explore the tunnels. The air inside was cool and damp. The walls glistened with moisture. He walked deeper into the darkness, the sound of water dripping echoing around him. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows. It felt like stepping into another world, one hidden beneath the bustling city above. Then he saw her. The woman stood at the end of the tunnel, drenched from head to toe. Her hair clung to her face, framing her pale skin. She was beautiful but unsettling. The rain seemed to follow her, pooling around her feet. Li Wei's heart raced. He felt drawn to her, an irresistible pull. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice echoing off the walls. She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped closer, her eyes dark and deep. There was something in her gaze that made him shiver. It was both inviting and terrifying. Days passed. He returned to the tunnels, searching for her. Each time, she was there, waiting. They spoke little, but their silence was filled with tension. She would smile, a slow, haunting smile that sent chills down his spine. He learned her name was Mira. She told him she lived in the tunnels, that they were her home. The rain continued to fall, washing away the world above. Li Wei found himself entranced by Mira. She seemed to embody the city's spirit, wild and unpredictable. He felt alive when he was with her, yet he sensed danger lurking beneath the surface. One night, as the storm raged outside, he found her sitting on a pile of rubble. The water dripped from her clothes, pooling at her feet. She looked ethereal, almost ghostly. "Do you believe in spirits?" she asked, her voice soft and melodic. "I don't know," he replied. "What do you mean?" She smiled, her eyes glinting. "This city has many stories, many souls lost in the rain." Li Wei felt a chill. He wanted to ask more, but the words caught in his throat. Instead, he reached for her hand. It was cold and damp, sending a jolt of fear through him. As the days turned into weeks, Li Wei's life became a blur of work and Mira. The tunnels felt like a sanctuary, yet they were also a trap. The deeper he went, the more he lost touch with reality. His colleagues noticed his distraction, but he brushed off their concerns. One evening, the rain fell harder than ever. The sound was deafening. Li Wei met Mira again. She seemed different, more intense. "You shouldn't be here," she said, her voice low. "The rain brings things that shouldn't be disturbed." "What do you mean?" he asked, confusion swirling in his mind. "Things that dwell in the darkness," she replied, her eyes darkening. "They are hungry." A shiver ran down his spine. He tried to laugh it off, but the atmosphere felt charged, electric. The lights flickered again, casting shadows that danced around them. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the tunnel. Li Wei jumped, his heart racing. "What was that?" Mira's expression shifted. Fear flashed in her eyes. "We need to leave, now!" They ran through the tunnels, the sound of rushing water growing louder. Li Wei felt panic rise within him. He didn't understand what was happening. The darkness closed in around them, and the air grew thick with tension. They reached a fork in the tunnel. Li Wei hesitated. "Which way? Follow me," she urged, grabbing his hand. They turned left, the water rushing around their feet. The tunnel narrowed, and the walls seemed to close in. Li Wei felt trapped, suffocated by the darkness. He glanced back, but the path was gone. The tunnel was a labyrinth, twisting and turning with no end in sight. Then he saw them. Shadows flitting at the edges of the light, dark figures lurking just beyond reach. Li Wei's heart raced. "What are they?" he gasped. "They are the lost," Mira whispered, her voice trembling. "The ones who drowned in the rain." The shadows moved closer, their forms becoming clearer. Faces twisted in agony, mouths open in silent screams. Li Wei felt a wave of nausea. "We have to go!" he shouted, but Mira stood still, her gaze fixed on the shadows. "They want me," she said, almost dreamily. "They want to take me home." "Home?" he echoed, horrified. "You can't stay here." The shadows surged forward, reaching for her. Li Wei grabbed her arm, pulling her away. "We need to leave. Now!" But she resisted, her eyes glazed over. "I belong here, with them." Panic flooded Li Wei. He had to save her. He dragged her through the tunnel, the shadows clawing at them. The walls seemed to pulse with darkness, the air thick with despair. Finally, they burst into a wider chamber. The rain poured down from above, creating a small waterfall. Li Wei stumbled, breathless. "We're safe here," he gasped, but Mira stood at the edge, staring into the darkness. "This is where it ends," she said, her voice low and haunting. "Don't say that!" Li Wei cried. "We can find a way out." "The rain has come for me," she whispered. "I can't fight it." Suddenly the shadows surged forward, enveloping her. Li Wei reached out, but it was too late. She vanished into the darkness, leaving only the sound of her laughter echoing in the chamber. He stood alone, the weight of despair crashing down on him. The rain continued to pour, relentless and unyielding. Li Wei stumbled back through the tunnels, the darkness closing in. He felt their presence, the lost souls watching him, waiting. The rain drummed on the surface, a constant reminder of what he had lost. Emerging into the chaos of Mumbai, he felt the weight of the city pressing down. The streets were alive, yet he felt hollow. The vibrant colours were muted, the laughter around him distant. The monsoon rains continued, washing away everything. But in the depths of the tunnels, the shadows lingered, waiting for the next soul to claim. And Li Wei knew, deep down, that he would never escape the darkness. The rain had taken something from him, something he could never reclaim. In the heart of the city, the echoes of Mira and the lost souls would haunt him forever. The relentless monsoon would keep falling, a reminder of the horrors hidden beneath the surface. And as the rain poured down, Li Wei understood that some stories were meant to remain untold, buried in the darkness of the tunnels.